Bibi Blocksberg, Zeta's Magical Fashion Alarm. Chapter 1. A Witchy Surprise. Come on, Fuzzyhead, hurry up! Bibi's eyes were watering from the rush of wind due to their cracking speed, but it still wasn't fast enough for her. Eeny meeny, bright green grass, apple pie, more gas, whiz whiz. With a pling pling, the broom put on such a burst of speed that the little witch had to hang tight so that she didn't fall off, but there was no way she could make up for the time she'd lost. Bibi had overslept, and no wonder. She'd studied her herbalist's handbook late into the night. Of course, she didn't hear her alarm that morning, and now she was running late. And Aunt Mania had announced, very secretively, that the young witches must make sure that they arrive for their lessons on time. Finally, Bibi caught a glimpse of the gabled roof of Mania's house between the trees. She descended quickly and jumped off apple pie before the broom had even landed. She ran down the hallway to the kitchen where the witches' lessons were held, and quickly pulled open the door. "Please excuse me, Aunt Mania, She fell silent. The room was filled with a gloomy light, and a perfectly round, deep blue moon was shining down from the ceiling. "Overslept?" Bibi said softly. Sheba put a finger to her lips and looked over at Bibi, who was trying to take her seat without making too much noise. "A blue full moon is very rare. It only happens about once every 2.5 years, Aunt Mania explained, without taking any notice of Bibi. Witches' magic spells are especially powerful when the moon is over the ecliptic and has reached the highest point of its orbit. But, Flowey Powie thought out loud, if the moon is so rare, we won't be able to repeat the test again anytime soon, will we? That's right. That's why you have to prepare for it very carefully. Aunt Mania explained that every one of the young witches had to pass the Blue Moon exam. It was a true milestone on the road to becoming a witch. Aunt Mania stretched one hand up towards the ceiling. "Eeny meeny, loud and clear, blue moon image disappear, whiz whiz." A pling pling rang out, and with a shower of witch stars the blue moon disappeared. Aunt Mania turned to the 3 young witches. "In 3 days' time, it's going to happen." A cold shiver went down Bibi's spine. She and the other young witches had spoken about nothing else for the past 2 weeks. After their lessons were over each day, they met on Young Witches' Island to practice. Well, to be honest, there was always so much to talk about. And if Bibi was honest, it didn't have too much to do with what they were supposed to be learning. Aunt Mania paged through her herbalist's handbook. "Bibi, because you were the last one here today, you may share your knowledge with us first. Let's see what you've learned about herbal recipes." Bibi stood up. She was so nervous that her hands were sweating. Aunt Mania's finger pointed to the recipe she had chosen in the meantime. "Here's a pretty one. Please prepare the potion to prevent flowers from wilting in the vase." Bibi thought frantically. Didn't she skim over that recipe just before she went to sleep last night? Yes, exactly. "The first thing one needs is luck," Bibi remembered. "You mean you need to be lucky," Sheba chuckled, while Flowey Powie giggled quietly. Bibi grabbed the little box with dried 4-leaf clovers. She crushed one of them into a powder with her fingers and sprinkled it into a glass beaker. But Bibi didn't know what came next. She was pretty sure it was something green. Her fingers wandered over to a container. Aunt Mania shook her head from side to side. "What does a plant need to grow other than water and light?"
Sample complete. Ready to continue?